All right, folks, welcome to Metalvani and Metalholic. With us today, we have Tobias Sammet of Avantasia, Ed Guy, and all the wonderful projects he's been part of. Welcome, and thanks for doing the interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, we just had a listening party of the new album, Ghostlights. Before we actually talk about it, I really wanted to know that you did The Mystery of Time in 2013. Yeah. Then you did Space Police in 2014. And now it's Ghostlights. How are you able to find time and focus on each one of them to make sure that it's like the best material you can ever come up with?
Well, actually, it's not so much work. I don't perceive it as work. Mm-hmm. I love doing it. Mm-hmm. That's the answer, pretty much. And if you love doing something, you can be very productive. Mm-hmm. And I don't even perceive it as a short time or as a quick work process. Mm-hmm. That's, as you said, there's 1 year for each album. Mm-hmm. That's got 12 months. That's 52 weeks for one album. That's not really little time exactly. Mm-hmm. That's technically one song every 4 weeks.
Okay.
For a professional musician, that shouldn't be much work.
But you're still on tour, right?
Yeah, but being creative has got. You don't really need 40 or 60 hours to write a song. A good idea will pop up in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a couple of hours to translate that good idea into a piece of music and put it into a song and wrap a song around it. Mm-hmm. But still, it's just you need just a certain time frame to allow those ideas to pop up in your head. Mm-hmm. And to me, so far, I can say 4 weeks is a very, very long time for a good song idea.
That's wonderful.
So, if it will change one day, and I will say, the last 2 years I had just 3 ideas, I will not release crap music. I will rather adjust the schedule and wait longer. Mm-hmm. But so far, it was just there. The material was there. I did not have a record company with a gun standing behind me saying, do it. So,
right. That's wonderful. The inspiration to write a material, like we heard, all the 12 songs. I mean, it's not like, for me, as a fan, when I listen to it, it sounds to me that a lot of thought and inspiration was put into the material to make it sound precise. I mean, I can easily call Ghostlights as one of the most diverse album of your entire career.
That's great you say, because I agree. It's a very diverse album. It's also the longest album I've ever done, including all albums.
That's around 72 to 75 minutes.
70. I don't know exactly how long. Yeah. It's over 70 minutes long. So of course, there's a good chance it's very diverse because it's so long.
Yeah.
It's just again, I can say when you love what you do, you don't really think about how much work it is. You just do it. And you don't even perceive it as work. It's just I sit at home. Other people have other hobbies. I go into the basement. I say to my wife, I'm going to go to the basement. I'm going to be in bed pretty late tonight. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go to the basement. I'm going to stay there for 8 hours or something until 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning with half a bottle of red wine, or sometimes it's a full bottle. Sometimes it's no bottle at all, so I'm not an alcoholic. And then just work on the music and just love it. And just, when a great melody that comes up in my head, it's something that can really make me happy.
Yeah.
Just like somebody else is happy about other things. When I write a great song and have a great idea, I say, Jay, that's great. And then it's no trouble arranging that idea and making it a song. And also I have Sasha, who is a terrific instrumentalist in all aspects. And then we sit together and we arrange the song. It takes no time. We arrange it, and he's so quick, and he's just like, he is the guitar playing hands to my song ideas.
Okay, he transfers what's in your brain on the instrument.
Yeah, and also adds his ideas. And he will say, no, that's not, it doesn't make sense like this. Mm-hmm. what if we played that way? But we click so well together. So if you would lock us somewhere with 15 bottles of red wine,
Okay.
10 days, we would be able to create a great record in 10 days.
Wow.
From scratch to master.
Cool.
Of course, we would need some guest musicians to come in to play some, but the basics, the
structure, the arrangement,
we would be able to do that. I don't say it would be an amazing masterpiece, but we could come up with a lot of material in that time. So yeah, it's just great to work with those people.
That's wonderful. Now you said about the guest vocals. Now the exciting thing is you've worked with legends like Michael Kiske and Lande as well. For in the other projects, and they've been part of Avantasia as well. But getting a singer like Dee Snider or Jeff Tate, I mean, they are not the German friends like how you have with Michael. How was the process of getting them, and what made you actually have Jeff Tate and Dee on vocals?
Jeff Tate I had tried to get him 2 times before. It's quite easy. You call the manager, who's his wife, and you ask. Jeff Tate's wife is Susan.
Susan, yeah, sorry.
Susan Tate. And you just ask, and 2 times it didn't happen. Now I didn't even have a song idea for Jeff, but I had this song Seduction of Decay, which to me in the beginning when it was an instrumental, the melody lines were there roughly, chorus was there. To me it sounded like an orchestrated epic heavy metal version of Led Zeppelin, Black Dog in a way. Eastern scales. It had that Led Zeppelin touch, and I thought it would need a bluesy singer who could sing really high, like David Coverdale or something. But then I thought that was too obvious. That would be too obvious.
Predictable.
Yeah. So I thought, and there was no reason to be doing it, but I was in the basement, in that legendary basement of mine. I was sitting, and I was singing along, and all of a sudden I thought I was a huge Queensryche and Jeff Tate fan since I was a child. So I was singing along as if Jeff Tate was. I thought, what would Jeff Tate sound like on this album? So it ain't a far cry that it seemed, in just a wink we'd come for you. And I thought, that's great. That's just like an Eastern scale, Oriental Queensryche version. And I just tried to imagine the whole song, pushed it in that direction, sent it to Jeff, and then it took like months until he eventually agreed doing it. Had to listen to the song again, and then he was busy doing Operation Mindcrime. And then he said, like, yeah, I love the song, I will do it. And that was it.
Wow.
So it was quite easy. With Dee Snider, it was just a friend of mine who was working for the Wacken open air people. He just knows the manager of Dee.
Okay.
And I just asked him if he could ask Dee if he would be interested in. And they played him the song, and he said, it's a great song, I'm going to do it. So it was just like that. I didn't know Dee before. I met him once.
I mean, are you a Twisted Sister fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Twisted Sister was one of the bands that I grew up with. He was one of the characters that I wanted to be like. It was when I was a young musician, 14, 15, at school, writing real bad scores at school. I always wanted to be a professional musician like Angus Young and Dee Snider and Blackie Lawless and Paul Stanley, one of those rock stars that did not care about anything, that were just making their living by being themselves, not listening to a boss, not listening to a teacher. And Dee Snider was the epitome of a rock star that was not taking himself too seriously. He did those funny videos. He was like a human version of Bugs Bunny. And he was mean and angry, and he was a threat to all parents. And I was a fan. And that's how I became a fan, and I asked Dee, and he was into the idea. And that was great.
That's wonderful. In fact, the song I was actually listening to where Mako is on vocals.
Oh yeah.
I get the feeling that track is like an anthem to play live. I mean, it's speedy. It's got the groove, and I mean, I don't visualize a circle pit, but I see fans headbanging the hell out of themselves if that track is played live.
You know, we haven't made up our minds about it because my wife just sent me a text message today. I was already at the hotel. She said, you have to play Lucifer live. And, you know, there will be many songs where people will ask. I'm very confident about this album because I think it's a very, very, very strong album. Every musician says that after a production. I honestly mean that is a very, 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 very good album. And I think we will have to play a lot of those songs live. At least six songs of those albums.
Wonderful.
Of that album. And I agree that it's a very powerful song. Master of the Pendulum. It's got a great melody. The chorus is very in your face. We may, but you know, Let the Storm Descend Upon You, Mystery of a Blood Red Rose, Lucifer, the Geoff Tate song. You know, there are some songs that we really have to play. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to have to play 4 hours then.
That's wonderful. Now, you know, in terms of vocals, I mean, like you said earlier, that it's the melody which triggers in your mind which singer would fit in. But now that you've worked with so many singers, is there someone you still think that, this guy, I want him on vocals?
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson. Bruce Dickinson, and, you know, if the good fairy that comes ask me this question, which singer do you want to have? If she's got a good day, I would also ask if she wouldn't mind getting Paul Stanley, Steven Tyler, and maybe John Bon Jovi as well. And then maybe Meatloaf, which we tried for this record, but he didn't want to do it. So I sang the song myself, Mystery of Blood Red Rose.
Okay.
That's a typical Meatloaf song. I wanted to have Meatloaf. His management had a different opinion. So it didn't happen. So I said, well, what the fuck, then I'm going to sing the song myself.
That's cool.
So, there are some singers. Like, Bruce Dickinson. If the fairy says, no, Toby, just one wish, I would say the genie, so to speak. Genies are the ones that have because in Germany it's the fairies that grant you a wish.
Okay. So maybe down the road, you know, it might come true to have Bruce, because
I hope so. You know, because I asked him for this record, but he was having his cancer at that time. That was in February. I asked.
Yeah, and that was when he was getting diagnosed, and you know he was doing all that.
Diagnosed, I think, in December.
Yeah, and he
was just in
chemotherapy.
recovery. Yeah. So I understood. I got because our English promoter, she works for Maiden, and so we have pretty good connection to them.
Okay.
And they told me, no, right now it's pretty bad. So. Okay.
Now the album which we heard, like I said, it's very diverse, but you know, is there? Even though it's not the final copy, because Sasha told that there are some tweaks left to be done. In terms of production, last album you used an orchestra. I don't recollect the name of that. It's German Film Orchestra on the Mystery of Time. This time, are they present, or it's totally done by?
No, it's totally done. Because the thing is, you know, we were thinking about, okay, what's the positives and what's the negatives of having a real orchestra? There is definitely positives if you have a real orchestra.
Yeah.
If it's
more organic.
Yeah, but just if it stands by itself.
Yeah.
As soon as you add guitars and drums, you don't hear a difference anymore. Yeah. And it will just mess things up when it comes to producing it. So it was just a question on how many moments do we have when the orchestra stands on its own, or in a very, very, with only a few things happening in the background. And we said, like, hardly none of those moments, just a very few chord patterns, and that's it. So we said, let's just do it, you know, Miro has got so much great equipment. This is the most expensive equipment you can get to do this. This is the equipment that Hans Zimmer works on.
Okay.
So
you try doing that.
It is good enough. You will always, if you know the difference, if you know it's a real orchestra, you will, of course, always hear the difference.
Yeah.
That's more of a placebo effect as well.
True.
And for the last record, it was very important for me
to have it,
just to know it is there. But down the line, we did not see that need here.
Okay.
It was not a matter of, I was asked that question before, and I was asked if it was a matter of expenses. No, it would have been also in the budget to include another orchestra, but it was not needed.
Okay.
And why do it? It would have, it would have messed up the sound, especially when you do the heavier tracks.
Overall,
then it is really difficult to put it in place.
Okay, and regarding this, since this is the sequel of Mystery of Time, where does the story go now? I mean, I could not interpret most of the lyrics when you were singing on there, but I could figure out that it's it's got like the track like Ghostlights or Eyes Love, such tracks have certain feeling in it which has a continuity, like a journey.
It is.
So what is the concept on this, and where is it going now?
It is a journey. It is really hard for me to describe the story song by song because it is not a concept that you could tell like a novel or a school book. It's very abstract. A lot of elements are very abstract, and I'm speaking in metaphors. It goes on. There's a lot of things a lot of conversations of the protagonist with entities that may be speaking to him from the outside.
Okay.
Or maybe even things that speak to him from the inside, from the spirit world. It's about inner conflicts and external conflicts. And the story is still about the question of whether we are being materialistic, strictly physical beings, or spiritual beings. What is our true nature? And are we able to find out, and is the chance smaller to find out if times get faster and quicker? And is that accelerating pace of our current environment, isn't that a tool to keep us away from asking essential questions that we would only be able to phrase if we would halt for a moment and think for a moment? And it's the songs are speaking about different aspects of the whole thing, and in the end, he's taking part of a seance. He's in a seance, the protagonist, meditating, getting impressions from certain
external
voices speaking to him, and in the end, he doesn't know what is imagination and what is reality. And the question is there a difference between imagination and reality? And where do you have to draw a line? Isn't something you perceive isn't it real as well? The moment it has an effect on reality as we understand reality. So, and that translates to belief, to everything, to dreams, to a spark in your brain. It's just everything is exclusively spiritual in the beginning, and then it becomes materialism. Everything we touch was manufactured and created and thought out by people who just started with a spark, with something, some idea that wasn't there before. So it's magic in a way. It's the magical power of a thought. And, it's dealing with those kinds of things. And also wrapped up in a beautiful story and a fantastic journey. And in the end, I will call those 12 songs 12 dreams of the protagonist. And in the end, you will not know even if it was a dream or if it was reality. Even the protagonist doesn't know. But he takes a summary, a conclusion.
Overview.
By everything he has imagined or maybe been told. Whatever. He doesn't know. And there's different aspects speaking. There's science speaking, different aspects of science. There is spirituality speaking. And I tried to give all those different aspects in the story different characters who represent certain aspects of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's amazing to hear. And executing them to preciseness is very important. Now, how is this material going to turn up live? Because I see a great response from fans when it's, the guitars are plugged in and keys come into the picture. It's going to be a treat. So, have you planned anything about this album being played live, or is there any touring schedule been already?
We will tour. We will do a world tour. It will be done. We'll start in March.
Okay.
Germany, and then we'll do Europe. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to come to India. I've never been to India.
Yeah, I know.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, you won't believe it. None of the power metal bands have come to India. None.
Maiden do.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they came twice, but it is for an artist as well when you have fans there. But I don't know when is that going to happen. But I hope it happens soon.
I really hope to do it. And
is there any American tour on? Because you have no idea the fan base you have. I mean, it's diverse to its maximum possible impact you can have when you do a tour in States, especially maybe Prog Power.
Yeah, well, we played Prog Power with Edgar twice.
Yeah, how was the response you got there?
It was great. But what we will probably do 2 shows in the US.
Okay.
With Avantasia. It's you cannot do a coast to coast tour because it's such an expensive undertaking with having 25 people traveling.
Yeah.
We're 12 or 13 people on stage. We're a lot of crew. That's difficult to maintain, and you cannot go and play Jackson Springfield with something like Avantasia in front of 600 people. That's impossible. So we're gonna focus on
mainly in arenas.
Yeah, we'll do 1 show on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast.
Okay, so fans can get to travel there and witness, because you have many fans. In fact, when this listening party thing came into the picture, and my writer from States was like, "Oh, I wish I was there in Germany, getting to meet you and discuss," because I would easily consider her as one of your most loyal fans till date.
That's great.
So
say hi to her.
Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, India down the road. Hopefully, we get to see you.
I'd love to go there. I've never been.
Asia, anywhere in Asia, like Japan, China.
We're gonna do Japan. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna do Japan.
Tokyo, and and then we're gonna play Moscow.
Wonderful.
We're gonna do all of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And the South America, all of South America,
Wonderful,
Central America. We're gonna do Canada.
Cool.
So India. If somebody wanted us there, I'd be the first to go there. It's just. I know it sounds very cliche now if I say I love Indian food. That would be cheap, but it's true. But that would not be the reason to go there. We have many great places.
Definitely. I really hope that happens. So that's about it. So to your fans out there in India who would be listening to this,
do we have many fans in India?
I mean, I can surely say if you come there, you would see around 3,000 to 4,000 people
really
listening to Avantasia, Edguy, or you in general.
Maybe we should think about going to India.
Something might pop up. We never know.
Well, I if you are listening to Avantasia Edguy, dear fans in India, let the local promoters know that you want an Edguy or Avantasia show, because I want to come to India. Okay? Do we have a deal here?
There you go. That's it. Thanks a lot. It was an honor, having a chat with you, and I look forward to see you live for the first time when you start your tour, because I have not seen Avantasia or Edguy live so far. Okay. So that's going to be my first musical experience seeing you on stage. So that'll really be great.
Thank you very much.